Good afternoon, team. Welcome to the National Collegiate Rugby Championships. We're here for Championship Sunday, where we're going to see St. Bonaventure play the University of Wisconsin in Plateville. And we've got massive matchups between the team as they compete for the small college championships. My name is Darian Lovelace. I'm joined by dear friend Lance Kavanaugh, founder of Great American Rugby. Lance, you've been here already this morning with us crowning a champion earlier. What do you think we're about to see for this matchup between these two sides?
We're about to see two very strong and confident teams compete for the whole enchilada, Darian.
And we're so excited to be here in Houston, but a couple of words from the players before we get started.
Since I've joined rugby, there's no community like it, and that's just one thing that I love about this sport, and the teamwork that we have and the friendship that we've formed. It's just amazing.
Had a new coach come last year, so the fact that we've only been here for a year and we're already at nationals is just showing the growth that our program is going to have. Working us hard and just getting us here for only a year, so shout out to Coach B.
Freeze on three! 1, 2, 3, freeze!
You know, I will say, the beginning of our season, it was a little rough. We had a few shaky games, but our girls, we wrapped it up. We've been working hard, and now we're finally here, so it feels fantastic. I'm glad we're here. So we've been working hard for it.
We've had some changes with our coaching staff. We've been low on numbers at one point. So we've had a lot of hurdles to jump over this season.
And we are ready to rock and roll here at Aviva Stadium. In the center, we've got referee Justin Hale. If you look on your right, that's going to be our University of Wisconsin Plateville in their orange. And then on the left, we're going to have St. Bonaventure in the dark brown and the white. It's about time that we get started for these champions. After these 80 minutes, one of these teams will be crowned. We'll go ahead and we'll talk through these lineups. So for these teams that have worked so hard to get here, for St. Bonaventure, the Pack, the Wolves, we've got a couple people to keep your eye on. Jaylee Wagstaff, the hooker, she's going to be a connective piece within this, but also their front row and Patterson and Vincent are just absolutely unstoppable. And then we've got our backs, number 13, Nentars. She was an absolute menace at the line, is going to be super hungry to get some points on the board. The number 2 knocked out Endicott yesterday, so they are here to play. But Lance, talk us through Plateville.
Plateville coming in dangerous. One of the players to look out for, Kubitsky, owns 30 snow globes, wants to shake everything up to make the vision clear for her team today. And also in the back line, the Danger Woman, hat trick hero yesterday, handling business for her team. Taylor Brink was on the brink of destruction, doing everything she could yesterday to get her team ahead against a strong Portland team. Today, can she follow up with another hat trick performance and give Plateville the championship here today in Houston?
Kickoff is about ready to get underway. We see Hale down there, who is getting ready to get our game started. In the orange are going to be your University of Wisconsin, your Plateville Pioneers, and they're going to go ahead and get this kick started and underway for the D2 champions. Automatically tucking in and attacking the line is going to be Wilhelmi. Referee Hale already recognizing an offsides call. They're going to go ahead and quick tap quickly as St. Bonaventure is going to continue to press on. The number 10 taking it right to the line. That's Connor. And the Pioneers are all eyes up as the Wolves are trying to bully their way over the hinge with some pick and goes. The number 12 stepping in. That's going to be Rabis. Rabis getting her hands a little bit dirty with the forwards. They go ahead and they hit a center pod. The Pioneers holding strong here, though, with the leg drive of the number 7, holding even stronger. That's Vandersill. Electing now to go ahead and move it wide. They hit another waiting forward pod. And now the number 10 is going to go ahead and move it wide. That's Nentraz. We told everybody to keep an eye out for her. She's so explosive in the contact. Pioneers trying to work their way in that space, but St. Bonnie holding strong.
Tackle.
Doing a lot of hard runs here in the center. They're trying to do a defense, and a nice straightening line gets them over the 40. The number 12 already making her presence known. That's Rabis. Rabis is finally brought to ground. A lot of phases starting us off here early in this first half. Just slowly chipping away at this defense. The Pioneers holding strong and holding discipline here. The number 7, the number 2, Kubit's already making her presence known as well. Moving it through the hands, that's Nentraz. Nentraz dishes a fend. Nentraz gets around 2. Nentraz, can she get around a 3rd? Finally met by 2 defenders. Could head come over and make that hit. But a unfortunate loss of the ball from the number 7. That's Pop. Pop loses the ball, and we'll have our first scrum of the match. But what a long string of phases of play, Lance.
Absolutely. We're going to see that pick and go that got them through yesterday. Very dangerous attack, controlling the ball, controlling the tempo, and bringing the physicality yesterday to the defending champions. Now they're here for a chance to stake their own claim as champions in the small college national championship here right now in Houston.
First scrum set here for the D2 champions. The number 9 will go ahead and put this one in. That's Barnes. Scrum holding strong here, but the Wolves moving like a pack. They turn it over. The number 10 has to try and come in and play scrum half, but unfortunately knocks it on at the back of the scrum.
Great opportunity, unfortunately, just a tad bit squandered. Great way to get a steal. Great way to set yourselves up in the spot that they are right now, but unfortunately couldn't gather the ball cleanly. Now we have Plateville with an opportunity to reset and redo that scrum that failed them just recently.
Head coach Patrick Harrington looking on from the sideline as the scrum will go ahead and repeat. Let's see if the pack can generate a turnover in the Pioneers. The Pioneers adapt well, though, but they're getting bullied at the front row. Trying to dig it out, though, is their number 9. Barnes, she finally gets it out and moves it to the fly half, and then gets it to the center. A little bit of a drift line and a cut back inside, but an ankle bite tackle by Nentraz gets her down. Now they're going to go ahead and go back to the left-hand side. Big collisions happening as they get a little bit of some meters. And using those strong forwards yet again. Callaghan takes it in. Going ahead now and moving it through the wide space. They've got room to work it out, but unfortunately, the number 11, Brink, almost on the brink of getting a line break. She loses the ball behind. Looks like we will have a scrum almost right in the same spot that we were in about 2 minutes ago.
Absolutely. It seems like they're the slow start. Both teams having small handling errors. Both teams got to lock into this game right now. But St. Bonnie on the doorstep, just outside their attacking 22. Great opportunity for them to get ahead right here, right now.
And the Wolves are already off to the races. The number 6 having to come across after a successful line out for Plateville. Dutton brings one down. The ball is kind of going behind the shoulder. The number 11 has to clean it up. That's Colin. Colin now is met heavily by the number 15 and tackled right out of bounds. That's Kolodny. And now it'll be a line out going in favor of the Pioneers.
Yeah, here we go. Orange out here. We have black here.
Sir, can you cross the line the next time they put in?
Yeah, I'll take care of the game. Worry about your team. 2 and 2. 2 and 2.
Massive hit happening on the sideline. We see here the number 14 just having to work her way low, but then the low leg drive, that 16th defender never loses. The Pioneers, though, after winning that line out, they elect to go ahead and kick it out, being well within the 22. So now we'll have a line out going in favor of the St. Bonnies. Now, St. Bonaventure knocked out Endicott yesterday with a 22-10 lead. They locked out the number 1 seed. So now we'll have a new D2 champion crowned after this. They win the line out after it being a little bit messy. And now they're going to go ahead and move it to Nentraz. She's met, though, quickly by Rabis. Rabis brings her down, and now they're going to try and counter here. Slowing the ball down greatly. They go ahead and they have to move it to the left-hand side. Patterson is having to work away a massive fend. Nobody wants to go high on Pop. She'll pop you quick. Reed now tries to move it to her centers. The ball's a little bit messy, though. It ends up hitting the hands. We're going to have a scrum. Lance, we're about 7 minutes gone in this first half for the small college champions. And a lot of handling errors happening here early. Kind of uncharacteristic for both sides.
Absolutely, but this moment is uncharacteristic for both sides. Both of them are standing at the mountain. One chance to be a national champion right here today. You got to play perfect. The pressure can be on. These are pressure cooker situations. But let's see as they settle in closer to the 20th minute, will they show their true structure and strategy and be able to implement the way that they play that got them here today right now.
Scrum in at the center of the pitch. St. Bonaventure putting on a lot of pressure. We see here even the front row getting bullied over. She's not able to hold her weight there, so the St. Bonaventure, the Wolves, will go ahead and get that long arm penalty. You see here the number 10 coming in to make the best decision. Reed being a little bit cheeky. She gets one of her forwards to come in. Try and get some go forward. They're well into the 22. There's Wagstaff. Wagstaff tries to wiggle around. Having to dig for the ball is Pop. Pop doesn't get much go forward on that one. Pioneers holding strong here. They're all on their feet, leaving the breakdowns alone. Electing now to pick and go. They're trying to counter ruck here, but Wagstaff picks it up at the back. Nice low hit, though, for Wilhelmi. Slow clinical stuff for them. Looks like the Pioneers are listening to Hale. He tells them to back off, and so Reed's going to try and take advantage of it. She gets it to the number 12. The number 12 is at the line. That's going to be Ramsey. Ramsey bullying her way over. St. Bonaventure draws first blood here, 5-0.
And just as yesterday, she picks up right where she left off. Unstoppable Ramsey is, finding her way into the try zone to give St. Bonaventure a 5-0 lead. As we set up for conversion, St. Bonaventure had such a physical style of play yesterday, and the question was, will they be able to reset and find themselves to play that same style here this afternoon? And it looks as though they're picking up right where they left off, bringing in multiple defenders, and when she's got a full head of steam like this, inside cut off the right foot, too strong, too powerful. Ramsey, you are the Mamsie, and you get 5 points for St. Bonaventure. Good job on her. And let's see if St. Bonaventure can keep up that physical dominance that we've seen from them over this weekend.
Conversion goes up, and it veers a little bit to the right, so our score will still stay 5-0 here for the small college champions.
They're fine at the rug. I'm watching it yet.
St. Bonaventure, coached by Meredith Pike, making their appearance here in the championship after knocking out Endicott. University of Wisconsin played yesterday against Cortland. They were able to draw a massive win, 31-5. Shows their defensive efforts, but can it hold strong against the Wolves? We're all gonna wait and see. Kick is now up off of the restart. It goes back right at the 22, bounces a couple times, and then finds its way into the hands of the wing. She cuts back inside, does a little bit of whip and weave, and then she also gets high tackled, so that'll be a penalty against the Pioneers. They're gonna go quick right off of the bat. Now trying to work her way around is Madaw.
Use it.
After the 9 going in, now they're gonna try and do some pick and goes. Reeves,
Tackle.
it's about a meter. And now the pack comes in. Trying to take in some defenders of the Pioneers, but they stay out of the breakdown. And are showing a massive defensive stance against St. Bonaventure, but they've got a lot of space to work it out wide if the Wolves can get it there. A lot of tiring work here from the forwards. A little shoulder check knocks Riviera off, and now they're going to go ahead and move it through the hands. They do it very well. They get it into a speedster's hands. She's grabbed by her shorts and taken down by the number 10. Good cover defense. Now they're going to go ahead and try and counter here. They're successful with it. They rip it away, and they get called for a not releasing penalty from Brown.
Look at the speed to get around the edge, caught by her shorts, and immediately the counter ruck was on. Multiple St. Bonaventure players getting bent backwards, unable to hold to the pressure of this Plateville counter rucking. And unfortunately, St. Bonaventure attacker holding on to the ball through the counter ruck, not being able to let the play continue, breaking the spirit of the game. Easy penalty to call for our center judge, Justin Hale, who's has major experience throughout the nation, refereeing big games, MLR, national championship level games, and now he's here today at the Small College National Championship here in Houston.
Pioneers, they work their way in front of the Wolves, so they'll win the line out there at the front, and they're going to go ahead and move it quickly to the outside. Fortunately, she gets caught, and she's under a lot of pressure, so the ball has to bounce. Looping play coming in from the back line, and the number 12 for Plateville knocks it on. Rabis loses that ball, and now St. Bonaventure look like they've got it in hand. Referee, though, recognizes some lack of discipline there in the breakdown for not rolling away. So now St. Bonaventure will get to either choose to gain some ground, kick it out with that penalty. They do. Ramsey gets the ball out. Looks like it'll be right in front of the 50. And it'll be a St. Bonaventure line out.
And you see the strength of St. Bonaventure coming through, getting that turnover, and Plateville trying their best. The Pioneers trying to get the same kind of turnover. Unfortunately, tackle already called, pulled it out a little too late, but it's still from Plateville.
And you can hear the fans in the stands, the one who made their way over here to Houston to watch this beautiful string of rugby that we have going on here for the Pioneers. Their ball movement looks pretty good. The number 15, it takes it right into Tars. She's taken down quickly. Now they're going to go ahead and try and hit the hinge. The number 1, she gets some go forward there. That's Wilhelmi. But the Wolves are competing for possession there. The ball's on the ground. And so we've got to dig it out at the back of that ruck. The Wolves are really working that space at the breakdown, forcing the Pioneers to go backwards. They're going to have to make some go forward. They've got some space to work it to the right-hand side. They choose to go ahead and stick it right to the wing. Brown left on the ground after that collision with Rabis. Gonna have to play a lot of defense here. Running a little bit sideways. They get tackled. And then Wagstaff is there trying to win possession. She stood a couple of the Pioneers up. Madaw is having to really work, but now she's got a little bit of momentum going. That's going to be Perez. Perez gets them into a better position, and now the Pioneers are feeding off of that go forward. They gain some more meters, and now they're right at the 22. Using some big leg drives and some fends. They get the separation that they want, but somebody's got their hands in there. Somebody also has their hands up. That's Hale to the left. That means that St. Bonaventure just got a not releasing penalty, all thanks to Ramsey, the number 12. She's going to go ahead and ram her way through. She dishes around one, gets around another, and by the skin of her jersey, she's taken down. St. Bonaventure really showing that they want to push the pace here. The fly half moves it to a forward pod. They're met heavily by the relentless defense of the Pioneers. Getting caught a little bit flat-footed. The ball is available and open. So Wagstaff has to come in and take the bull by the horns. They're now at the 40. We hear Hale call that it's a maul, so now we're just seeing bodies fly in. Ball looks like it's going to go ahead and work its way to the bag. St. Bonaventure still have possession. So now Vincent. Vincent comes in. Tries to hit the sweet spot of the pick and goes. They're getting further along here, but just slowly making their way. The number 10, she does a little bit of a drift defense. The number 11 comes across, though, and she meets Ramsey quickly. Taken down at about center field. Not making much ground here. The Pioneers are still showing a very unified defense here. Tiring stuff, Lance. This is a lot of defensive work coming in from the Pioneers.
And this is definitely the strategy that St. Bonaventure loves to employ. Physical, confrontational, tiring. They have the physical players necessary to play this style. As you've been mentioned before, Wagstaff, who might be a little hobbled from a knee injury that she pulled into yesterday. Fortunately, not enough time to completely 100% heal. You see both of those knees are taped up. But player for player between Ramsey, Wagstaff, and a few others who showed up big time yesterday, they're employing the same strategy as they did. And it's very dangerous for a Plateville team if they aren't conditioned and ready to take on 80 minutes of physical and confrontational play. I mean, the big hits have already started, and they continue to go. Look at this strong drive by the Plateville's number 8. Selena decides that she does not want to be held down by anyone. 3, 4, 5, 6 defenders it takes in order to bring her down. And here we have St. Bonaventure getting the penalty. Katie with the turnover after a tackle leaves a Plateville player turtled. Plateville on attack right now.
Bodendine connects well with Risley. Risley then gives it back into the one who gave her the pass, Bodendine. She's met quickly, and here we see the forwards continuing now to press on. The number 1 gets a little bit tripped up, Wilhelmi, and so now the ball kind of falls out a little bit at the back, but the number 4 decides to go ahead and really spearhead this attack. Minot. And then a not releasing penalty came in against St. Bonaventure. Unfortunately, it looks like the number 9 got a little bit too excited. Barnes, she tried to be a little bit cheeky and go behind Hale. Barnes gives it a tap, gives it to a massive runner. That's going to be Callahan. Hale's going to go ahead and have a conversation after a couple of strings of infractions.
Inside the 22, we need to clean up the breakdown. It's your tackles and your tackler assists. They got to roll they got to roll away before anybody is trying to get that ball, and tackler has to before going for that ball.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's 2 inside the 22.
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Justin Hale with great control of the game, clear communications, making sure that these are clean ruck areas. And now with the tap and go, the Pioneers are rolling, ready to go.
The Pioneers now are the closest that they've been all half. They're about 15 meters outside of the try zone, so they've got a lot of work to do. But Wilhelmi, she's determined to get to that try zone. Bodendine, the massive runner, she goes ahead and she moves it to the backs. Brink gets taken down quickly, and she's left the ball exposed.
A band is still on.
Reed almost works her way in there. We heard Hale say that there's a possible advantage. He almost blows for the whistle, but they'll continue to press on. A little bit of an offload off of the bottom of the ruck. Gets them some go forward here. Trying to work their way around the hinge. That's Bodendine. She does a long body presentation of the ball. It gets your team a little bit of space. They're offloading off of the ground, but the Wolves protective of the den, not allowing much go forward here. They're running sideways with many pick and goes. Not able to get to where they want. But the Pioneers are continuing to try and work their way over. Ball looks like it's grounded. That's going to be done by the number 3, that's Callahan. And now we've got a tie ball game, 5-5 here in this small college championship.
That was well worked by the Pioneers, showing why they deserve to be in this moment. Answering back for an amazing team try, going left and right for most of the time. A resilient and strong St. Bonaventure defense. But when it all came down to it, University of Wisconsin Plateville has what it takes to get over. Look at the continuous drive, pick and go, St. Bonnie defenders swarming. Everyone is involved. Everyone is trying their best. There's still a penalty advantage, but finally, relenting St. Bonaventure gives up that 5 for a hard charging Emma Callahan, who does everything she can, driving multiple defenders by herself, getting the turn and the roll, and with the center referee right over top of it, Justin Hale in perfect position to see that grounding. It is now 5-5 with the kick coming right now. And unfortunately just a bit short, so we are now tied up 5 points to 5 points here at the Small College National Champion, with both teams swinging. This is a heavyweight fight with both teams showing why they want this championship extra bad. Look at the determination and roll for her to get in and score the try. And look at the reaction. She is here and she is ready to win. And this Plateville team is impressing, countering back from an early try given away to St. Bonaventure.
Callahan, the finance major, she put her 2 cents in and she got $1 back there. 5-5 will bring our ball game tied. As we see,
Whenever you're ready, yes.
Nantar set for the restart. 22 minutes gone here. Ball goes up and it's fielded cleanly. They're gonna go ahead and try and bully their way over the top. Dutton leaves the ball exposed for just a second, and then Reed turns it over there. Ramsey picks it up, and now they are well within the 40. Wagstaff doesn't get as much go forward as she usually does, but she weasels her way out of one tackle, stiff arms another, and then finally is brought down by the Pioneers. Moving it out to the right-hand side, Reed moves it to a forward pod. The number 7 takes it in. Pop. Doing a good job of working the ball back. Almost exposed. They elect to use the pick and goes now. Doing what they've done best here, trying to suck in some defenders. But the Pioneers stay pretty widespread on defense. Reed now moves it to Nantars. Nantars tries to give that signature fend. She does well though, but she's brought down after some good low body height. Gonna have to rely on that connectivity. Ball looks like it was a little bit high there. The number 7 was popped off there against head. Almost some head-to-head contact, but these athletes staying so strong in the contact. They move it out to the left-hand side. Good ball movement, but nice corralling defense from the Pioneers. Sends them right outside the 22. Reed now moves it to Pop. Somebody should go low on Pop. But Callahan, the try scorer, holds her up, brings her to ground. Reed moves it to Wagstaff. Wagstaff is not an easy target. She does not go down willingly. About 5 seconds up above the ground, she finally is taken down. Reed does a little bit of drift defense, does a show and go, gets it to Nentars. Nentars selflessly gets it to the fullback, Lamar. Lamar, though, still right at the 22. Not a lot of meters gained here, but St. Bonaventure, they can maintain their composure. They can make something happen. Ball ends up hitting the deck. It slows down all of that momentum that they created. We're at about phase 8 now for the Wolves. Drifting across is the number 12. The number 14, though, throws her around Risley. Looks like they lost some ground there, though. The number 4 making a nuisance of herself there. Looks like she might have come in from the side, though. Minot, that's a big no-no. And so Hale blows it up. Looks like Hale's going to go ahead and talk to some of the Pioneers.
Got to play. Y'all have a player. Yeah. I'm not going nowhere. Yes. It's their ball.
Looks like they pause time. Hale goes ahead and calls it off because they've got a player down. I think that's the number 11, Brink, for the Pioneers. That would be a massive loss.
It's blue ball, sorry. It's blue ball.
He caught hands in. I think the counter ruck was good, but someone that was already on the ground shoved the ball back once it was exposed to keep from Plateville having an opportunity to get to steal. So he blew it up and called a hands in and had to stop play for an injured player. And now we're back to the action.
All is good here at Aviva Stadium. Hale says to play on, and Bodendine goes to her boot. Lance, I've got to say, one of the most impressive things that I've seen all weekend is the amount of forwards that are kickers here for all brackets of play.
Absolutely. Ooh, that was a big collision. It's been a lot of skill work that we've seen over this weekend. I'm very impressed by the way these ladies have been playing. And look at the physicality, running right into the danger. This Pioneer squad is ready to go after that try.
And then Tars, talk about danger. She goes ahead and she gets a nice low swift hit. They've got some space to work it out to the left low, do the Pioneers. Doing a little bit of footwork. She gives a fend, and the speedster, she's got it. The number 15, the fullback. A little bit of a contest, though, between fullback on fullback, and the Wolves will end up on top. Lamar just tackles and ruins any chance of Koluzny making her way into that try zone. So now the Bonaventure side will get a throw in here. Ball goes up and it goes over the top of all of the lineouts. And so the University of Wisconsin, the number 6, she ends up with it. And she makes something out of nothing there. Dutton. They've got a lot of space to work it out to the right-hand side. The number 10 selflessly gives it away after a good pin and pass. The number 13, she's got speed to burn. Speed to burn here. Is that try held up? Trying to work it down, though, is the number 15, and it looks like it's awarded, going in favor of Plateville. That's going to be Head. Head takes it by storm. Our score now 10-5 with the Pioneers on top for the first time this match.
That right there is an amazing bit of play. From one sideline, getting a break, getting it all the way back across to the other field where the space is.
This is from an
As
earlier
we look,
try.
Yeah, this is the earlier try that got them their first 5 points to tie up this match. But great job by Ashley Head and those Plateville Pioneers getting around the corner, working in tandem. The pin and pass was perfect, and from then, all Ashley had to do was get into the try zone. A little bit of fighting to keep from being held up on that try, but good job on her. It is now 10-5 with a conversion to come.
Number 13 scored that head with the speed of the feet. She gets 5 points on the board. It looks like that conversion is no good. Karowski kicks it up, the number 22. We'll take a look at this play, all set up by Dutton.
I mean, listen, if you got Connor doing what she's supposed to do, holding defenders, getting all the way out to the edge, adding real pressure to the St. Bonnie team, you can say that she probably scored on the initial fall, and with a little bit of fight from Lamar doing what she can to stop the try, who's been playing great defensively. She stopped 2 breaks in that same build-up, but unable to stop the third. And now, St. Bonaventure find themselves down 10-5, excuse me, after having the lead in the opening 15 minutes.
Restart goes up and it's fielded cleanly in about center field. They're taking it now at the 40 and also at the 50, and then trying to make their way to the 40. Lamar holds strong after a massive break from Wilhelmi off of that restart. Nentars frustrated with the lack of possession. She gets her hands in there, which gets a turnover, and she goes ahead and she quick taps, tucking the ball automatically. She's trying to work it to anybody who's ready for the offload. The number 10 moves it to, looks like that's the number 11. She's finally tackled, though. Does a good job of keeping the ball back inside. And so the reinforcements have to come across now. It's scramble stuff, so they go ahead and they reset with a couple of pick and goes. Grabbing it off of the back is White. Moves it from Reed to Wagstaff, and Wagstaff gets the knock on. scrum advantage given, but the Pioneers might not need it. They're really starting to get into the groove of things now as we enter into the last 10 minutes. Ball movement looks impeccable here as they move it through to the try-scorer head, but an ankle bite tackle ruins any chance of that from Nentars. It looks like they might have worked their way into that space rather well. And so Ramsey will go ahead and get a not releasing penalty. But Lance, that attack from the Pioneers is really starting to blossom here.
Absolutely. They look like they understand the forward running. They're getting it out to the space. They're finding those gaps. A tip tackle maybe just saved a try. Got to the tippy toes, tripped up the attacker, and a turnover because Ramsey has a good head on their shoulders, is always worried about the next job, getting the ball back for St. Bonnie.
Number 10 comes across and does a little switch line with Nentars. Taken down though. And about center field. They're trying to work their way over that 40, but the Pioneers defense holding strong. Nentars slow to get up. Looks like she might have taken a knock to the ankle. But the Wolves press on. Trying to make their way into the try zone. It would mean everything for them to get a score before it. Ramsey cuts back inside. The turf monster, though, brings her down after a little bit of a slip. They go ahead and they're going to do the pick and goes. Not a lot of space opening up for them, but the Pioneers having some good flat defense. Nentars gets around the hinge. She gives one dummy, gets a one-handed offload. Odendine comes across and makes the tackle on the wing. She can't do it, so then Risley's got to go ahead and clean it up. Still staying strong in that contact is Colin. Colin now forces the maul. And she makes something out of nothing. Gets her way down, setting up fairly deep to get a good run up. This Pop, though, gets dished a pop of herself from the Pioneers. Wagstaff ready to go ahead and take it into contact. Waiting for the support. Support's there and available. They're going to go ahead and move it now. Reed moves it to Nentars, who then gives it back inside to Ramsey. Big collision happens by Rabis. And then the counter ruck, they're feeding off of that energy. The number 7 goes in and digs it out, and now the Pioneers have it. The number 8 seed really making themselves well known here in Houston. They move it to the right, then move it to the left. The number 3 gets taken down by the number 13, Nentars. And so now they've got to go ahead and reset after losing a couple of meters with a big hit. Ball is out and available. Nentars trying to lead the brigade. Massive launch and a big hit. She comes up and she makes a second tackle. Working tirelessly. They need somebody to go ahead and light the match. They're swarming over top now. The Wolves end up with it. And so now they're off to the attack. After a good defensive effort, it looks like Nentars is down. But they continue to press on. Reed gets it from Wagstaff. Wagstaff uses that fend, and it works in her favor. She gets a lot of go forward, and they're about 10 meters outside of the try zone now. We got about 7 minutes to go. Reed selflessly gives it to Ramsey. Ramsey's got some speed, and she's got a fend. She's got to stay away from that sideline, though, and she does well. Hold strong in the contact, and so now the support is there. St. Bonaventure trying to cook up something. Reed moves it to our flanker. Continuing to maintain possession here is going to be crucial for the Wolves. So they'll do what they do best, which is the pick and goes. Coming in now and digging for the ball.
You notice how low Plateville's getting on these pick and goes. They've looked at this and scouted it out. They made sure everyone was aware of how low they need to get. Everyone's doing chop tackles. St. Bonaventure pick and goes not working to the extreme measure as they were yesterday. But the space is opening up slowly.
Ramsey steps in to try and help with the pick and goes for the forwards. We see a couple of forwards on the left and the right-hand side. So we'll see what the plan is as they continue to press on with the pick and go. But Lance, as you said, the Pioneers, almost like they planned it this way. They're holding strong at the hinge of these rucks. Ramsey goes ahead and does it again. But that was a quick tackle by the Pioneers. They're really starting to rev up here as they try and make a mess of the ruck. A little bit too messy, though, for Hale's liking. They come in through the side. Ramsey, recognizing where her mark is, she goes ahead and she tries to take it right in. She's got the room to work with. She's about a meter shy, though, as the Pioneers holding so strong on defense. And now they're really going to have to work their defensive effort at the hinge as the pick and goes. The Congo line is started. Can we get a celebration for St. Bonaventure? Looks like it might have gotten ripped away, though, illegally. Hale does a double blow the whistle, so he'll talk to Plateville.
Specifically inside the 5. At the 5. Not releasing.
Ramsey goes ahead. She is just a bully when it comes to the contact. Has no problem starting these next string of phases. And because of that leg drive coming in from Vincent, it means everything for them to tie the ball game here. 36 minutes gone in this first half. And now our score will be 10-2 in the Small College National Championship.
Haley Vincent says, "This is my house." Taking a pick and go, leg drive, full extension of the body. And you can hear that crowd is very excited to see the St. Bonaventure tie it up. Almost with the counter ruck, the University of Wisconsin Plateville Pioneers trying their best, but not getting low as they did earlier in some of these pick and goes, and it allowed Vincent to really get into her leg drive and really lay out her dominance inside near this tackle area. No one can stop her. She falls right into the try zone. 5 points for St. Bonaventure. And that string of play, I count, what are we talking, 20-ish phases? Add in the penalties even more. I mean, this St. Bonaventure team knows how to retain ball. And with the conversion, let's see if they can take the lead.
Ball goes up. It does go through. So now St. Bonaventure will get the lead yet again. Just so they started it, they'd like to finish this first half on top, 12-10. Lance, what a bully they found in Vincent.
Absolutely, and she and a lot of the forward pack yesterday were really laying out their dominance, including some of the black line players like Ramsey. And even now, these ladies are stepping up in the same way for St. Bonaventure, and this crowd is into it. Plateville fans, St. Bonaventure fans, doing whatever they can to rile their team. This close to halftime, those 2 points in that conversion, scoring so close to the sticks and getting that conversion is going to mean a lot as we get deeper into this game.
2 minutes left to go in this first half. The restart is up and it's fielded well by the Wolves. And they're going to go ahead and try and get another try in, hopefully before we go into the 10-minute locker shop talk. Using the pick and goes now. Slowing it down, maintaining the possession is going to be crucial as Wagstaff does a little bit of a reverse and buys herself a little bit more space. Finally taken down, though, by the Pioneers. They're already ready for the pick and go, so we'll see if they just run out the clock. Smart, intelligent play is important for them, but they do something that's not expected. Reed moves it to Nentars. Nentars with the one-handed offload, her signature move. They get it wide. Looks like the defender who never misses the sideline caught the ankles of the number 15, Lamar. And so it'll be a line out going in favor of Plateville.
1 minute. Yeah. It's a scrum. It was a knock-on.
It was a knock-on, I believe, of that one-handed pass. She might have knocked it on and gathered it and been tackled a little bit down the field, but I believe it was an earlier knock-on. With less than a minute to go, can the Pioneers add some points to regain balance in this national championship game?
Hale signaled that there will only be less than a minute in this first half. Very close scoring game here, 12-10 with St. Bonaventure, the number 2 seed, on top. They knocked out the number 1 seed Endicott in the 2022 Small College National Champion. So in the next 50 minutes, we'll have a new national champion St. Bonaventure giving it everything that they have in that scrum. They just absolutely annihilate in the front row, and they get a long arm penalty for the bind. And so we'll see what they decide to do, but that was a big turnover of events for them.
Absolutely. That was an incredible scrum. Let's listen to Hale.
Okay. Y'all be back at the line.
Is this going to be game or?
Yeah, so we're at full time and a half.
Ramsey, the grad student, showing her intelligence there. She's got to tap it before she can kick it out, and that'll kill the time for the first half. Hale signals that is the end. But Lance, give us a brief recap of what you thought of that first half.
When we first came in, I knew both teams would be ready and excited to play in this game, Small College National Championship. At one half, I think our prayers have been answered. We're going to see an absolute bar burner, two teams who are absolute poised to win it. And I'm so excited for the second half. I can't wait.
And we've got Tyler down on the pitch with head coach Justin Hale for Plateville.
Thanks, guys. I'm here on the Plateville sideline with Coach. Coach, obviously we know the Bonnies had a signature kind of pick and go, smash into the defense, while you guys had that wide offensive attack. What did you like out of that first half?
From our team, I like to hustle across the field. They're getting it wide. They're going to have to set up a little bit more into the back play instead of just whipping it out. But I think the girls are handling the game well. Nobody thought this was going to be easy. So rugby on Sunday can't get better than this.
It really can. And obviously, I mean, this is almost a parallel opposite to the two semifinals that we saw from both of the small college teams yesterday. What are you going to tell your girls going into the second half?
It's the same way we played NMU. It's the same play with Wisconsin games. This is Wisconsin rugby. We're used to this. That's what I'm going to play their game.
Awesome. Thanks, Coach. Good luck. Back up to you guys.
Shout out to Coach Bergman for just telling the girls to do what they do best. Stay with us, though. We've got a whole second half worth of action to bring to you in this small college national championship.
And they come forward through Russell, and Ollie Lawrence finishes the job.
Bristol struggled with last week against Bath.
Burgess, she's done it before, she's doing it again. Dupria, and the captain will run it in for Sale.
In our game, we play with our hearts. We don't play with sticks, bats, or gloves. We don't wear shoulder pads or helmets. We keep playing when it hurts. And we leave everything on the field. What we wear must be built for our game.
We got the hits. We got the kicks.
Oh God, that looks way too good.
The passes.
The athletes.
And the fans. We got the pride. And the passion. All we need is you.
use Thorn products pre and post workout to maximize my recovery, muscle growth, and make sure that I can be my best self on the field.
Thorn's a supplement company that I can trust. They're NSF certified for sport, so I know that I can take this and know what's in their product.
I use their protein, get my muscles nice and big.
The products I use with Thorn have minimal ingredients. They're high quality, they're clean, they're batch tested, taste amazing, and it made everything in my recovery and my performance better.
If you're not recovering off the pitch, you're not your best self on the pitch. Thorn gets me there.
In our game, we play with our hearts. We don't play with sticks, bats, or gloves. We don't wear shoulder pads or helmets. We keep playing when it hurts. And we leave everything on the field. What we wear must be built for our game.
Welcome back, team. And if you're just now joining us for the National Collegiate Rugby Championships, we've got a second half for you. The matchup between St. Bonaventure and the University of Wisconsin Plateville is shaping up to be a match and a half. St. Bonaventure is leading 12-10 as we enter into the second half. My name is Darian Lovelace. I'm joined by Lance Kavanaugh. Lance, talk us through what that first half is, and what do you think the second half has in store for us here?
The first half showed us that both teams are highly geared, ready to play. Both teams did everything possible to score. Defensively, were strong. Look at the tenacity defensively. Look at the leg drive. This second half is going to be a fun game to watch. Please stay tuned for a great matchup in the second half.
Hill signals that the second half is underway, and in 40 minutes we'll have a new national champion for the small college. An unfortunate error, though, early on by Plateville gives it right back to St. Bonaventure in an even better attacking position. So they're about 30 meters outside of their try zone. Hearing now the communications come in. Lots of good communications came in from both coaches. We heard a little bit from Coach Bergerman for the University of Wisconsin. So they're going to have to play a lot of defense here as St. Bonaventure look extremely threatening here around the hinge. But they hold strong against Lamar. Working their way now to the center of the pitch. They move it through two backs' hands and find some connection within their forwards. And then another pack of forwards comes around Reed. A lot of rugby to be played. They can string together a lot of phases if they need to. The number 12 works her way through the space well, gets it to Nantars. Nantars gets it to the wing, who then pops it back inside to the number 6. She stays in, though. And they're knocking on the door. Sheasley now leaves a messy breakdown as bodies are just being pushed and shoved around. On this penalty, you go in favor of the University of Wisconsin.
That tightrope act down the sideline was impeccable by St. Bonaventure, but even more impressive is the Pioneers counter-rucking and finding a way to get the ball back. Look at the ball go through hands. Winger all by herself, one defender, two defenders. You can't stop me. And right when she's going out of bounds, the flick inside somehow stays in bounds. And right when you think St. Bonaventure is going to go in the score, the counter ruck is there. And Plateville find a way to save points from the board. And now they have to throw in right now.
Even though Plateville threw that up, somehow the Bonnies end up with it. And then it's going to end up in the hands of none other than Wagstaff. It's almost like she's got magnets on her hands today. Keeps the ball in play, and now they'll pick and go off of the base of the ruck. But I tell you what, the Pioneers, they hold well. They get low when they're threatened at the hinge. Vincent, the try scorer for the Bonnies. She tries to get into some of the action, but doesn't get much going there. So then Reed's got to move it to Nentars. Nentars tries to get it to Ramsey, the grad student. But that drift defense doing well. The Pioneers now all set on defense. Eyes are up as they launch up into the face of the Wolves end up in the face, and then they end up on the ground. The Wolves now are going to really have to cook up something. Wagstaff tries to cook up something. Almost turning into a chef. She makes something out of nothing here. Holding strong is the Wolves. They can string together a lot of phases of play if they need to. Their connection so strong. They're right outside of the 22. Getting a little bit of a test for the ball being available. The number 5 gets called for an offsides for Plateville. Ramsey is going to quick tap it. She's going to go quickly. She's going to go quickly through a gap, though.
Ramsey! Again! Ramsey shows up when St. Bonnie needs her. Quick tap. Finds her gap. Won't be stopped. Won't be denied. We might just be seeing the beginning of a great player with a great future here in the United States, because Ramsey will not be denied by anyone. Yet again, showing up for St. Bonaventure. Unfortunate penalty given away by Plateville. Claire Dixon offsides unnecessarily, and Michaela Ramsey, the grad student, makes her pay. Going for her MBA. She is well studied in the way of getting a try. One stiff arm there, using her speed to split those two defenders. And this lady not only is on her way to possibly win a national championship today with St. Bonaventure, over the summer with the Chicago Lions, she won a national championship. She is a winner and is determined to put her team over. What an incredible try, and what a great start to this half for St. Bonaventure.
Ramsey gets that try, and then we'll look for her partner in crime, Nentars, to convert it. All of these conversions now are going to be super important. Ball goes up. Looks like it was going in the right direction, but it's short. So Ramsey will get the 5 points. The grad student. She means business today, living up to her master's. And Lance, I mean, the determination from both sides, being in a championship. I mean, St. Bonnie's coming off of knocking out Endicott. The replay is giving us a possible different story.
It counted as 5. We're going to count it as 5, but that was TMO is necessary sometimes. But great score by St. Bonaventure. Ramsey, good job getting points on the board for your team. Kick off right now.
Now, Ramsey's been in school long enough to know that C's do get degrees. Sometimes you pass by the skin of your teeth. So we'll bring our score 17-10 now. St. Bonaventure in possession after fielding that kickoff cleanly. They're going to go ahead and try and keep possession and starve Plateville, the Pioneers, without access to the ball. Nentars moves it to Ramsey. Ramsey cuts back inside, and then Head takes her head on. Holding strong now in the defense. Now Plateville do need to get the ball back if they want to score, but no thanks to the number 7 here. Pop does a little bit of a weave around. The number 15 does well to bring her down, though. Palunzi looks like she stopped a try dead in its tracks with a knock on. So thankfully for that, the Pioneers will now have their first real chance to attack. About 6 minutes gone in the second half.
What an incredible break, and that could have literally broke the back of the Pioneers if they give up back-to-back tries in such a fashion. What an incredible break. But the defense from the Pioneers stepping up when necessary, getting the ball back for their team. Now, can they find themselves back on the other side of half and put pressure on the St. Bonaventure team, who extended their lead to 7 just recently?
Hale communicating to the front row what the expectation is for this scrum. In the first half, we saw St. Bonaventure really make a muck of things for the Pioneers. So we'll see what this scrum has in store for us. Pop weasels her head in the first year. Ball is now in play. St. Bonaventure already have their feet moving, but the front row holds strong for Plateville. And that'll go ahead and allow some fends and a shoulder check from the number 8. Now the ball is available. It moves quickly, though, into the hands of the number 7. She cleans it up well. That's Fannersill. Looks like there might be an advantage called coming in from Hale. This was our earlier try scorer. That's Callahan. Callahan gets something going. Looks like Ramsey might have gotten her hands in there, though, but an earlier infraction gives it right back to Plateville.
And that offsides was just a little bit of the St. Bonnie doing what's necessary. They thought the ball was out. They were trying to rush to get the ball, thinking that it was out. Unfortunately, there was a back foot there that kept it inside of the ruck. And instead of taking a penalty tap, they elect to go for a scrum, even though St. Bonaventure has had a lot of advantage with the scrum so far in this game. I wonder what made them decide to employ this strategy. Let's see if it works out for them. Plateville putting it on the line. The Pioneers are going to meet St. Bonaventure head up right here, right now.
Pioneers are really throwing us for a loop. They hold strong as well in the scrum, gaining a lot more confidence here. They move it to the back, and then they move it to the side. A kick is up. It goes behind the defense, and so it's a foot race now. Ball is available, and it looks like the number 11 will end up with it.
Back 10.
But the possibility of playing a man without the ball now gets it right back into Plateville's hands. And the number 9, she goes quickly. She's ready to play Barnes. Barnes leaves the ball vulnerable. And so now it's got to be part of the cleanup crew for the forwards. And of course, Bodendine is going to really take that bull by the horns here in Texas. They've got some space to work it out to the right if they can see it, but they're so strong with that pick and go. The Wolves trying to swarm over top. They get low, and then they almost get over top. Nentars has her hands on it. Nentars gets it away. What a shift of momentum for them. Massive defensive work by her. The Wolves have a lot of decisions to make here. They're pinned all the way down in this end. Maintaining their discipline.
Has space to their left.
Choosing now to keep it tight, doing the safe thing. They stay close to the Pioneers, and now they'll move it to the back. Lamar does a little bit of a kick of her own, and it rolls right out at the 22. So even though they did remove the pressure, they did give the Pioneers a good attacking platform about 22 meters outside of their own try zone.
That was an incredible bit of play from both teams. Plateville electing to kick, getting a penalty for playing the man, going quick tap. And after a build-up of play, sorry, I want to let Hale get his words in. After a build-up of play, St. Bonaventure able to get the ball back. And now, Plateville employing a maul. They're bringing the physicality back to St. Bonaventure that St. Bonnie's brought in the first half.
Drifting across is the number 9, but she does well to go ahead and get some straightening runs from her fly half and her center. So now they're about center field, still at the 22. There's a little bit of an attack. Head takes it on, and Head's a little bit isolated. But they hold strong here. The Pioneers now trying to make it known. The number 15 now is knocking on the door. They're about 5 meters outside. And the Wolves desperate to try and stop this try. They also put on a defensive show out. But we also hear a lack of discipline of coming in from the side. But Nentars, an absolute menace. She gets them quickly to ground. Hale, though, still probably giving that advantage. Looks like we might have a new penalty of not rolling away.
From the side,
but Hale gives the earlier infraction. So it'll be about a penalty committed about 5 meters out.
From the side.
Looks like Barnes is ready to go. Barnes takes it in. Shoulder checks 1. She's got to stay inside, though. Gives it to a big runner. The earlier try scorer, that's Callahan. Callahan's got to get to ground before she gets tackled out. And the Bonnies come across and they tackle her straight out of bounds. And that was a lot of collisions there in that last couple of seconds.
Absolutely. Number 18 from St. Bonaventure, Olivia Reeves, comes flying in.
They were both, they were both high. Yep. It's that sort of same thing.
Looks like no rap from St. Bonnie's. It looks like no rap from 18 St. Bonnie's. And kabooyah right there. Big collision. Reeves leaves her feet getting lifted by the scrum half.
Yes.
Zoe says, please, Noe, do not bring it to me. And what a collision at the goal line. You can't tell me both of these teams do not want this win. You can't tell me both of these teams aren't fighting.
Time is off.
But a big collision inside the 5-meter line and a possibly not wrapping with both teams clawing, scraping, fighting to get into this try zone as Plateville.
So Bonaventure end up getting a line out, and then they lose it after a good snatch by Bonaventure. And so now they're going to find themselves in the exact same position as before. They're going to use the pick and goes now. They're right at the line. They've got to work it back if they don't want to get held up. They do. And so now that'll be a drop kick from the try zone for St. Bonaventure. And that was a massive defensive effort for them, really trying to keep the Pioneers out of that try zone.
Yeah, that's a great passage of play for St. Bonaventure, showing determination to keep teams out of their try zone, and they elect to go right to the sideline, right out of bounds. The leg drive here, just a little bit too high. Multiple St. Bonaventure's players corralling, even one possibly with an arm around the head and neck. But Plateville's attacking again, seems to be blown up.
So with that drop kick from Ramsey, it went straight out of bounds. So that's going to be a center scrum, 5 meters out, going in favor of the Pioneers. And that's a mistake that I'm sure that St. Bonaventure did not want to commit. It gets the Pioneers just one step closer to tying up this ball game. They only need a converted try to get us to a tie.
To me, Orange.
Try to tie it.
Wow, I am very happy to see that both of these teams are putting it on the line. Both of these teams are bringing the noise. The physicality is there, the team cohesion. 15 minutes into this second half, ladies and gentlemen, we are seeing quite a game.
Hale clarifying yet again what his expectations are on the front row side.
Yeah.
So now both teams are in agreement. So this scrum will go ahead and get underway. This is crucial. Probably one of the most important set piece for the Pioneers, as they're down a converted try here in the small college national championship. Both of these teams competing to be the new national champion after St. Bonaventure took them out. And St. Bonnie, of course, trying to bully their way over, but so does Bonaventure. Bonaventure gets an offload to the number 10. Ball is loose. Ramsey kicks it. Ramsey, the NBA, she's putting on a show. Kicks it yet again. Oh, and they lost about 50 meters worth of work there. So now they've got a lot of ground to cover up. The number 22 gets it to the 10. Number 14, she's got a lot of work here. She's got to try and find her support. Plateville just walking back. They need to go ahead and play some scramble stuff. There's a lot of gaps open, though, in the middle if they can move it. Nobody's there, so the number 7, she's got to go ahead and just take it right into the heart. She sees a little bit of some space open up, though. That's Bannersill. Bannersill makes it work. St. Bonaventure, they don't make it work by not rolling away, and Barnes goes right up to the races. They are 10 meters, so referee says play on. She's isolated. They get up there to continue to play. This is some exciting stuff here in Houston at Aviva Stadium. Looks like ball is available, though.
To the first arriving player. She's good.
So it looks like a not releasing penalty comes in from Nantars. And so Nantars will go ahead and get the not releasing penalty here at the Houston SaberCats Stadium. Ramsey quick taps gives a fend, cuts back inside, just slides one defender off. Takes about 2 to finally bring her down. She came here to play. Looks like the cavalry comes in. So there will be some pick and goes done by St. Bonaventure. A lot of arm grabs coming in from the Pioneers. Gets her about 5 meters. So now Reed will go ahead and move it to the ball carrier. The primary one for St. Bonnie's, Pop. Reed now moves it to Nantars. Nantars is met by the number 12. And taken down, finally, after finding her support, Rabis. Rabis has her job cut out for her against those 2 centers. And the Bonnies. Oh, but Wagstaff wants to make her presence known as well. She bumps off one. And so finally now they're underway yet again. Vincent, the earlier try scorer. She holds strong in the contact. 3 Pioneers trying to work their way in that space. She doesn't let him. Reed gives a show and go, cuts back inside. 2 defenders bring her down. Now there's our big pop. She's popping off here today at the Houston SaberCab Stadium. Really just dishes it right to Kolesny. But Kolesny, she holds strong, she holds confident and brings her down. St. Bonaventure now have a lot of ground to cover though. They're still about 40 meters outside of their own try zone. It's still up 17-10. Here now it's slowing down. Beres continuing now to play scrum half for the side. She moves it to Ramsey. Ramsey cuts back inside. The launch, holding strong on the outside. She's got no other option. Moving in out to the left-hand side, Reed gives a little bit of show and go at Nantar. She hits that line at pace, but then she also throws a wayward pass. Puts her team under a lot of pressure here. Somehow they make it work. And the number 6, the flanker, gives it back inside to Reed. A little bit of some cleanup coming in. Sheasley, looks like the ball might have ended up out of the hands of Wagstaff. A knock-on.
Do you see the intensity over these last 3, 4, 5 minutes? Both of these teams are bringing the noise. St. Bonaventure showing up in attack. Wagstaff laying down the boom. Goodness gracious. Again, please get out of my way. I have a try to score. Again, Wagstaff bringing the noise. Maya Pop is popping off. Excuse me, ma'am. Thank you. Appreciate it. 1-on-1 with the fullback, and again, brings the collision. Almost knocks it completely down and over. Both teams are impressing me with their physicality, but St. Bonaventure is winning these physical contests, and that might have to do with why they have a 7-point lead right now.
Beautiful camera work coming in for this small college national championship. All thanks to Next Level Rugby. Maybe if you can catch some of our camera crew, they've got the sun out as well as the guns out. We have a sleeveless cameraman around here somewhere.
Let's use it.
Getting set now for the St. Bonnies. They go ahead and they elect for a quick tap. Nantars dishes a dummy. Gets a couple people to fall for it. But Connor, she holds strong. Reed moves it to Pop. Pop getting a taste of her own medicine. She's taken down quickly by Patterson. Or excuse me, that was Wilhelmi. Trying to find some vulnerability in this Pioneer defense. Slowing the game down a little bit. Trying to make something. They do a little bit of some quick hands work. Ramsey might have gotten caught around the neck. Looks like there might have been a collision, though, happening for the Pioneers. 2 players slow to get up, but they continue to press on. Pop's got to take it in. Reed finds Wagstaff. Wagstaff drops the shoulder. Wagstaff continues to drop the shoulder and continues to pump her legs. Finally tossed around, though. The counter ruck comes in. St. Bonaventure, a little bit of some slower phases as we enter into the final 20 minutes of this small college championship. A lot of tired legs here. A good ankle tackle, though, on Ramsey. Allows the pressure to really come on for the Pioneers. Somebody got caught underneath, though. Ramsey, she's off to the races right away. Ramsey cannot be stopped. Ramsey cuts back in. The flanker can't get her. Kalesny, the cleanup crew, the janitor, she makes it work and keeps Ramsey outside of the try zone. But that gained them a lot of forward momentum after a lot of slow phases. So now they've got a lot of more room to work with. We're trying to stretch it a little bit. Nantars, these centers, the center of it all, really leading this team in meters. They move it back to Ramsey. Ramsey just wants that ball to make its way over the try zone. The number 2 team knocked out the number 1, the 2022 national champion Endicott, all thanks to players like Ramsey. They've got a lot more work to do. Got about 10 meters outside, and the Pioneers, the orange and blue side, staying wide, staying flat, but they've got to launch. Reed gives a show and go, cuts back inside, holds her weight though, holds her own. Ready to go though is Pop. Pop cannot be stopped. We see a player down underneath though for the Pioneers. Wagstaff goes in and digs for it. Wagstaff, almost there. She's held up though. Can she get her hands to ground? Her feet make it. We've got a lot of pick and goes left, but a big low collision gets them to ground quickly. The Pioneers still holding strong in their defense. These efforts are important. Pop. This is the time to make her stop. And they do. She's almost at the line, tries to roll over and rolls back. And now Reed moves it to the left. Nantars moves it to Ramsey. Ramsey, can she make it around the corner? Ramsey, that's a hat trick for Ramsey. And that'll bring our score now 22-10. St. Bonaventure leading all things to the grad student.
What a game for the St. Bonaventure front line. These forwards are bringing the entire Plateville defense into the center of the field. They're leaving space for Ramsey to get her tries and also allowing her the space to be able to run free. Once she has a head of steam, she becomes as dangerous as anybody on the field. The space is there. They can't beat her to the corner. And easy as it goes, a race to the try line, and she wins. Ramsey yet again showing up for St. Bonaventure.
You better be smiling after those tries. Mentars will try and convert this try, just continuing to extend their lead over the Pioneers. Kick goes up. Kick looks like it's short. Flag stays down. But Lance, not enough can be said about Ramsey, the speed of which St. Bonaventure is playing with.
Seems like every time she gets the ball, she might just go the whole way. She's extremely dangerous, forcing these Pioneers to really deal with her, confrontational in attack, making sure that she has the stiff arm ready. The fin is always up, hard charging. And as you said earlier, she is doing everything she can to get the ball over the try line. Tenacity, look at her, get her people hype, get her team hype, letting the fans know that she's here and she's rocking. Those fans are absolutely excited for the points that St. Bonaventure has put up over the last 20 minutes. They extended their lead even further, and this Plateville team needs to get on the board as soon as possible to make this a game at the end.
Pioneers get a low kick. Looks like there was an obstruction though, as one of the Wolves tried to get their way around. Number 8, Bodendine, as she goes ahead and she just takes it right into the heart of the Wolves. Holding strong in the defense, they go ahead and they move it to the left again. Callahan, she scored a try earlier today, so she's always making her presence known. Barnes moves it to the backs, who have a little bit of space to work with here, but the defensive pressure coming in from the Wolves forces Rabis to hit the ground quickly. Number 13, Head moves it to Kolesny. Kolesny does a really good of a pin and pass. The number 22 now has it. Karowski, she's left alone, so the number 6 has to clean it up. He's almost tackled out of bounds. Barnes keeps it, gives it back into Karowski. A lot of chaotic stuff, leaves a little bit of vulnerability around the breakdown. The Bonnies almost recognize it, so now they've got a lot of defensive launch to happen. And the Pioneers are getting pushed backwards. They've got to reset here, but it looks like somebody's got their hands in there. Vincent's called off, though. The Pioneers now trying to get a wide attack. They move it to an awaiting forward pod. Barnes now gives it to the fly half, who then quickly moves it to the 12. But an intercept pass gives it right to a speedster. Looks like, though, somebody might have called something back. Hale calls an offsides call. She might have been a little bit too in front of the mark. And so that'll go right back into the hands of the Pioneers. But Lance, that almost was a little bit too much for the Pioneers.
That probably would have said the end of the game. Let's see what's going on here. Yeah, a few of the players are in front of that front foot when the ball is picked up from the back of that scrum. Back of that ruck. Justin Hale on the whistle.
They already quick tap, though, and the Pioneers almost losing the ball in contact was Wilhelmi, but she holds on to it, and then she also finds a little bit of some extra courage. She keeps her legs going here as they look to use that left-hand side, and then moves it to the 14, who then moves it back into the other loose forward, Dutton. Barnes calls in for the pick and goes. This is what got them there first, and it also draws them an advantage for an offsides call. So now they're going to continue to press on. Arm goes up, signaling that Hale is still playing the advantage. They might not need it, though, after somebody gets a little bit close to the 9. Wilhelmi, somebody's got it. Somebody's got to try as well. We'll wait to give you that number, but it looks like that might be the number 4, Minot. Minot makes it known that she is also ready for this championship. And so they'll add another 5 now. The Pioneers now bringing our score 22 to 15.
But no, don't you know, after the leg drive from multiple Pioneers, almost getting in this collision right here. Could you please sit down, ma'am? Have a seat, wait your turn. Almost getting in to score, Grace. But right after that, the devastating run by Grace leaves the door open for Shay. And Shay is excited, happy to score, and this closes the lead down, making this game even more of an absolute thriller. Both teams are bringing the physicality. I love to see it. The Wisconsin native, criminal justice, the senior with a criminal justice major, found a way to testify and find her team guilty of great offense. 5 points with the converted kick. This game has turned into an absolute thriller. I am very excited for the next 10-15 minutes here today. And look at that collision. Could you please have many seats? And that just opened all this space. You see this giant gap created for her after that great run by Grace Wilhelmi. Grace Wilhelmi, the prop, the bio major, showing you that she also studies physics.
If they can hear me at the table, can the table hear me?
A great try, great team try for this Pioneer side.
The criminal justice major already getting the crowd fired up here. Big shout out to those in the stands as well as those who are tuning in. You mean everything. This is what's rugby without a whole lot of fans. Restart goes up and ends up going over the heads of a lot of the Pioneers players and ends up finally rolling its way out to touch. It'll still stay in the hands of the Pioneers. Our score 22-17. We're down about 5 points. There's a 5-point difference, and we've got 10 minutes to go. Lance, you've been in a lot of national championship situations. You've been in plays where it's come down to the wire. What do both of these teams need to try and do to either get the lead or get the win.
First thing, you have to stay true to yourself. Everything that got you to this championship game is what you should lean on. The adversity that you had to go through throughout the season, the things that you taught each other in the practice field, the things that you learned throughout the season. No need to deviate, become someone new at a moment like this. No, stick to what you know, stick to who you are, and it got you to this moment, and it should get you through. Fight hard, leave nothing on the table.
Ball ends up going not straight, so it'll give the pristine attacking position to the Wolves. The Wolves up 22-17 as we've only got about 8 minutes left to go. Reed gives a little bit of a show and go to both of her centers. She tries to get it wide and she finds it in the hands of Lamar. Lamar gets tackled and corralled into defense. The Pioneers now are just sending in all of the reinforcements. They've won the ruck. So now they're on the attack after Lamar gets isolated. Reed's trying to get her hands in there. Both teams need possession for different reasons, but the Pioneers have a lot of work to do here. A long looping pass finds it in the hands of the number 6. Wagstaff meets her quickly though, and they're under a lot of pressure here. As St. Bonnie's, they're coming up, trying to get the ball back. They need possession if they want to keep their lead. Pioneers do have time though to make something. They use the boot and they kick it right over the head of Lamar. Lamar, she's got to go all the way back past the 40. She's got a lot of work to do and a whole bunch of people coming in. The Pioneers are coming across, trying to make some hits. She gets one off, gets another, and somehow almost stays in bound, but a foot goes out, and so this gets them further along. They're now at the 50, and Pioneers now have possession.
Darian, we are going down to the wire. 6 minutes to go in this small college national championship game. Both teams relentless. Neither team giving up an inch. Everything is earned. And right now, with 5 points down, the Pioneers have an opportunity to get down the field and tie this game and maybe even take the lead.
St. Bonnie's with the cowboy hats on. I might need me one of those if they win the national championship, representing here down in Houston, Texas. Pioneers, though, are ready to play. They still have a lot more gas in the tank as they move it to the left-hand side. They've got a 2v1, but Kalenzi, she keeps it and then finally gets it to the wing, who's got it in hand as well. They're at the 40 now, and we've got about 5 minutes left to go here for this small college national champion. A new national champion for National Collegiate Rugby will be crowned here in about 5 minutes. But if any of these teams have to say, we really don't know who will end up with it. Very close ball game here as they move it. Ball bounces, ends up in the hands of the center. The center then takes it into the line. She's keeping her feet though, doing well to maintain possession. That's Rabis. Well over the 40 now. Setting extremely deep. They've got a lot of room to run up. And there's a little bit of isolation there. Vincent thinks about going in there, but she backs off. Bodendine gets one fend. She gets around another, and the ball's loose. It goes backwards, though. Pioneers putting themselves under a whole lot of pressure here. They're getting driven back. They're now within the 40. And there's a little bit of isolation, but there's also some bodies there for St. Bonnie's. Ball moves through the hands. A very wide forward pod. There's room to work it out to the right-hand side if they can, and they do. She cuts back in though, gives a loop to the loose forward, 6v6. Somebody's got their hands in there, and because of somebody not rolling away, it still stays within the Pioneers. And Hale gives a double whistle. We'll see what he has to say. Looks like he's just setting the mark. Time is back on. She's got about 4 minutes left to go. The Pioneers look to gain a little bit more ground, so they kick out, and we finally make it out of this end, but 6v6 lands. Look at this tackle.
Amazing tackle, amazing technique. Almost looked like an Olympic wrestler going for a 5-point takedown. Looks clean, looks legal. It might have been a great opportunity to get a steal, but unfortunately stuck underneath, unable to roll away. penalty given to Plateville. These Pioneers are roaring inside of the 50 with 3 minutes to go. This is going to be a thriller.
The Pioneers needed that line out, and they do win it. They use it behind the back pass and then a cut back inside. This is a line break and a half. That's much needed. The number 15, she makes her presence known. That's Kolesny. She's met with a lot of support coming in for the Pioneers. Still moving it now to the left-hand side. They use Wilhelmi. Wilhelmi keeps her feet going. St. Bonaventure, they decide to go ahead and leave the Rucks alone. All of the defense on their feet. That was our earlier try scorer, Minot, the criminal justice major. Almost taking names there. Take it down. The number 12 moves it to the number 13 head. She also has a try to her name as well. Who of the Pioneers, if they can, who can get another try to their name? Callahan, she takes it in. And then St. Bonaventure, they finally decide to go ahead and get all of the bodies in there, and they end up with a turnover. This is not what the Pioneers needed. They've got to get set on defense quickly. We'll see what decision the Wolves decide to go with. They're now electing to go ahead and use the pick and go. They've only got to maintain possession for about 2 minutes if they want to keep their lead and be the new national champion here. Somebody stuck underneath there. Now they're going to go ahead and use the pick and go. Lance, if you're the Pioneers, what do you need to do in order to try and get the ball back?
Chop early and have tackler assists and everyone else flood over for the counter ruck, just like you're seeing right now, because St. Bonnie is going to play it as slow as possible. This is their strength. St. Bonnie's right now is playing to what it is, got them to this point, as I said earlier. No need to rush. Take your time and secure ball, but they need to flood over with the counter rucks with every tackle, making sure that St. Bonnie is bringing enough resources to keep possession.
We see here head coach for St. Bonnie's, that's Meredith Pike. She looks on as her team looks like they might be set for the national championship if they can hold strong here. The Pioneers, though, giving it everything that they got. Bodies flying in everywhere. They've got to counter up. Like you said, Lance, they've got to get the ball back. They want to get some tries. But here we just see it, their dream slowly dwindling away as the Wolves.
Look at the posture of St. Bonaventure. 2 hands on the ball, super low, doing everything to make sure ball retention is the #1 strategy. And you see coach clock watching, looking at the game, making sure the clock is winding, looking back at her ladies, making sure the clock is winding. St. Bonaventure are less than 30 seconds away from the national championship if they can just keep possession of the ball. Ball is out, do they know? Yes.
The Wolves, you can hear everybody in the stands, both shouting for different reasons. The Pioneers need the ball back. The Wolves not giving an inch. They came here to hunt. Calling them off, though. They go ahead and they kick it out. Hale signals that that's the end of it. You're looking at the Wolves as your national champions, the small college national champions playing here at the Sabercat Stadium. The Wolves, they show that they run like dogs here. And that's going to go ahead and bring the conclusion of this match here. You're looking at your new National Collegiate Rugby small college champions in the black. Lance, what did this team do well to get them to this position after they took out the #1 seed yesterday when they end up on top here for the final show?
They did enough. They did enough of everything. They brought the physicality, led by a group of ladies who stood out front to make sure that they got over for tries defensively, making sure that they stopped and dominated a very determined Plateville Pioneer side. Big congratulations to St. Bonaventure, who yesterday played almost a flawless game and right now get to celebrate being the women's small college NCR national champion here in Houston. Congratulations to these ladies.
Getting their medals. We see here everybody up front. The #12 Ramsey celebrating that win, a hat trick to her name, so we can automatically probably assume that she might be the player of the match. down there. Looks like we've got Tyler down there ready to talk shop about this win. Talk us through
I am
Ramsey.
here with McKenna Ramsey, the walking highlight reel. I've talked to you more than I've talked to my boss this weekend. The hat trick in the national championship final. You came here, you saw, you conquered. How did that feel?
Oh, it's just so great. We've been working for this season. Like, losing the lead last year really just like lit the fire underneath us. And the fact that we were able to accomplish it is just such a great and so surreal feeling. Like, we're never going to like forget this moment because, oh my gosh, it's so great.
Every single teammate shined. The forwards and the backs were like cake and ice cream. It was unbelievable. 1 year of a new coach. After this, you said Lee was your favorite memory. Is this your new one?
Oh yeah, 100%. It's my new favorite memory forever.
Congratulations on being small college national champions. Bonaventure, St. Bonaventure.
St. Bonaventure are your small college national champion. Lance Kavanaugh, always a pleasure to sit here and talk shop with you. My name is Darian Lovelace. Joining us next will be Tim Wilkes as we talk you through the D2 Collegiate Champions. That'll be found in the University of Wisconsin, Eau Claire, and Vassar College. But if it's anything like what this match was, we have a whole lot more action. Stay with us, team. We'll talk to you soon.
This is how we feel.